If today feels quieter, but not empty, like something has shifted and you're now seeing it more clearly, this isn't random. You're in the aftermath. Yesterday was activation, movement, intensity, decisions, reactions. And today, you're seeing the result. Not everything at once, but enough to notice. You may feel less urgency today, less pressure to act, less intensity in your reactions, but more awareness, more reflection, more understanding of what just happened. You may also notice that certain things feel clearer now. What made sense and what didn't. What was aligned and what was reactive. What moved you forward and what created friction. Because once the intensity passes, clarity begins. You may also feel a slight emotional shift, not as intense as before, but more grounded, more aware of your position, more aware of your direction. And that's the purpose of today, not to act again, but to understand. So if today feels calmer, more reflective, like you're processing what just occurred, it's because you've moved from action into awareness. What you're experiencing today is not just calm after intensity, it's integration. The surge from yesterday has moved through you, but its effects are still settling. Pluto is now retrograde, and that changes the direction of the energy, from outward activation to inward transformation. You may notice that your focus shifts today, less on what happened externally and more on what it means internally, revisiting moments, re-evaluating decisions, seeing deeper layers of what was revealed. Because Pluto retrograde doesn't just show you what happened, it shows you why. You may begin to notice patterns more clearly now, not just in others, but in yourself. How you respond under pressure, what triggers your reactions, what drives your decisions. And that awareness is where transformation begins. You may also feel a subtle emotional shift, not intense, but heavier, more serious, more focused on what matters. Because Pluto energy removes distraction. It brings attention to what is real, what is important, what needs to change. So what you're feeling today is not just reflection, it's depth, the beginning of a longer process where what was activated starts to become understood. This is where today becomes delicate, because once the intensity passes, the mind starts evaluating. The first trap is self-judgment, looking back at what happened and focusing on what went wrong, what you said, what you did, what you didn't control perfectly. Because clarity now makes everything more visible, but awareness is not meant for criticism, it's meant for understanding. The second trap is overanalysis, replaying every moment, trying to break down every detail, searching for perfect explanations for everything that occurred. Because Pluto energy wants depth, but too much analysis creates distortion, not clarity. There's also a subtler pattern today, avoiding responsibility, blaming external factors, focusing only on what others did, ignoring your own role in what unfolded, because it's easier. But real transformation requires honesty, not blame, just clarity. So the real calibration today is balanced reflection, seeing clearly without judging, understanding deeply without overthinking, taking responsibility without self-criticism. Because what makes today powerful is not what happened yesterday, it's what you learn from it now. So how do you reflect without getting stuck in it, and without turning awareness into pressure? You extract and release. Because today is not about reliving what happened, it's about learning from it. Start by identifying what matters. Not every detail, not every moment, just the key points. What stood out? What felt different? What clearly showed you something new? That's where your attention goes. You can also simplify your understanding. You don't need a complete breakdown. You don't need to analyze everything. You just need enough clarity to move forward differently. Because clarity does not require complexity. You may also find it helpful to separate awareness from emotion. See what happened without attaching unnecessary weight to it. Because when you remove the emotional charge, understanding becomes easier and clearer. You can also shift your focus forward, not to avoid reflection, but to apply it. What changes now? What adjusts? What improves based on what you've seen? Because that's what turns awareness into progress. So today, learn clearly, release what doesn't matter, keep what does, and move forward with more understanding than before.
Let everything settle here. Not to replay the moment, but to understand it. Because today was not about intensity, it was about meaning. So take a breath, steady, controlled, unforced, and notice what remains when the noise fades. There's clarity here. Not perfect, but enough. Because what happened yesterday has already shown you something real about how you act, how you respond, what drives your decisions. And that awareness is the shift. You don't need to go back. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to carry forward what you now understand. So not everything needs attention. Not everything needs explanation. Some things are already clear, and that clarity is what you move with. So as you move forward from here, stay with that. What changed in how you see things? What feels different now? What would you do differently with this awareness? Let that guide you. Without pressure, without judgment. Because what you integrate today becomes your advantage tomorrow. And if this helped you see something, even slightly, return to it. Not to analyze more, but to move better.